Welcome to Cineights, where you get to know the best movies and series. Today's video is about the best sci-fi movies of all time, ranked according to IMDb, according to Ranker. I hope you enjoy this video. Be sure to watch until the end. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video. WALL-E 2008. WALL-E is a Pixar film that shows a world in which garbage has covered most of the earth and paints a very terrible future for mankind. The last of mankind has evacuated the world and taken refuge on a luxurious spacecraft, where they communicate with displays, have robots serve them, and move around in seats that levitate. This move was made in an effort to save the human race. The animated film was an instant hit when it first premiered, as both audiences and critics were profoundly moved by its powerful message, charming characters, and surprisingly emotional moments. The movie was so outstanding that in 2009, it was awarded the Academy Award for Best Animated Picture. Avengers Infinity War 2018. The events of Phase 3 build to an emotional climax in Avengers Infinity War, with Thanos' possession of the Infinity Stones posing a threat to the security of the whole world. Rightly among the top sci-fi movies, the film's thrilling events flow naturally toward the stunning finale, which centers on Thanos' deadly snap and its horrible results. The film memorably features some of the saddest deaths in the MCU. Seeing beloved protagonists and sidekicks vanish in a puff of dust is a surreal, tragic, and disturbing experience for any viewer. The performers' remarkably compelling portrayals of their respective deaths make for some particularly heartbreaking moments. As a result of Thanos' actions, viewers can't wait for retribution or, at the very least, an explanation for the chaos he has caused. Aliens 1986, a worthy sequel to Alien, Sigourney Weaver reprises her now iconic role as Ellen Ripley, who's finally rescued from a decades-long slumber in cryo. She soon joins a team sent to a group of colonists on a planet potentially infiltrated by aliens, and is disappointed to learn how everyone around her seems to be underestimating the creatures. With much better special effects, expansive world-building techniques, and even a deep dive into some of Ellen's relationships, James Cameron's Aliens effectively provides fans with a bigger and bolder story. It also helps that there's no shortage of twists that will keep audiences on the edge of their seats as Ellen acts like her usual badass self to survive every encounter. Avengers Endgame 2019. The storylines of the Infinity Saga come to a head in the superhero movie Avengers Endgame, in which the surviving members of the Avengers and their friends make a last-ditch effort to reverse the devastating impacts of the villainous Mad Titan Thanos' snap. Their valiant efforts only lead to greater uncertainties about the permanent legacy of Earth's mightiest heroes. Needless to say, the movie has a lot of exciting things going on. Not only is it a highly rated action movie, but it has amazing sci-fi elements that don't go unnoticed. With a plot that spans years and the fate of everything on the line, this movie depicts the most challenging mission that the Avengers have had to face thus far in the MCU. There is no easy solution to the problem that they are facing, and the painful scenes from Endgame are still discussed and referenced by fans today. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2018. It would be an understatement to say that Marvel's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse breathed new life into the oversaturated superhero genre. It introduces fans to Brooklyn-based Miles Morales, who struggles with his new identity as Spider-Man. When the multiverse breaks wide open and brings alternate versions of the hero into the mix, things get exhilarating and chaotic. Its endearing characters and absorbing story to its stunning variety of visuals and frantic pace. There's more than one reason the animated film reinvigorated the franchise. The movie is a love letter to the comics and a great entry point for new fans, too. Alien 1979. Often cited alongside the best sci-fi horror movies, Alien is a legendary film that needs no introduction. Directed by Ridley Scott, it's centered on the crew of the space tug Nostromo, who stumbles upon a strange abandoned spaceship. Little do they know that they would soon be bringing back a deadly extraterrestrial being with them that will threaten their survival. The film masterfully blends the two genres together in a setting that heavily relies on an eerie, quiet atmosphere. In fact, viewers don't ever really see the alien in its entirety until the last few minutes of the gripping movie. It may have been released over 40 years ago, but the sci-fi film still holds up and is worth watching today. Back to the Future 1985. Director Robert Zemeckis' Back to the Future became an unforgettable part of audiences' childhoods when it premiered to become a box office hit in the 80s. It follows the wacky time travel adventure of Marty McFly, who is accidentally sent back to the past in Dr. Emmett Brown's DeLorean. The situation becomes worse when Marty realizes he could cease to exist after he messes up his parents' relationship. It's a classic sci-fi movie that fans always come back to. What makes the classic film work is that it doesn't try too hard to delve into the science, and instead focuses on building a character worth rooting for. Plus, it's ridiculously hilarious, and its comedic tone makes viewers feel like things will turn out alright, even while seeing the worst consequences of Marty's antics. The Prestige 2006. Set in London towards the end of the 19th century, director Christopher Nolan's The Prestige delves into the intense rivalry between two stage magicians. Robert Angier and Alfred Borden are determined to prove that they're the best at their craft, and will risk everything to pull off never-before-seen stunts on the stage. The sci-fi element comes in when it becomes apparent that the only way the magicians can outdo each other is through novel experiments and inventions. The film brilliantly uses sci-fi to make the psychological thriller a truly nerve-wracking race until its tragic end. Star Wars Episode IV: A New Hope 1977, directed by George Lucas. 1977 Star Wars is the movie that birthed a franchise that's still massively successful today. A New Hope introduced the dramatic conflict between the authoritarian Galactic Empire and the courageous Rebel Alliance, while also depicting now iconic characters like Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia Organa. The award-winning classic was way ahead of its time, portraying unprecedented and striking scenes set in space and underscoring the viability of science fiction as a cinematic staple. There are undoubtedly still numerous fans around the world who have made it a tradition to re-watch the Skywalker saga, beginning with the film that started it all. Terminator 2: Judgment Day 1991. Terminator 2: Judgment Day is an excellent example of a sequel done right. Directed by James Cameron, the sci-fi action film is centered on the fate of the future leader of the rebellion, John Connor. A highly advanced and dangerous Terminator called the T-1000 is sent by Skynet to eliminate the boy, but the Resistance sends one of their own, T-800. The box office hit is bigger, bolder, and better than the original, which says a lot considering how successful the 1984 movie was. Its shape-shifting antagonist played a huge role in raising the stakes and making the action sequences more engaging and thrilling. Back to the Future 1985. Director Robert Zemeckis' Back to the Future became an unforgettable part of audiences' childhoods when it premiered to become a box office hit in the 80s. It follows the wacky time travel adventure of Marty McFly, who is accidentally sent back to the past in Dr. Emmett Brown's DeLorean. The situation becomes worse when Marty realizes he could cease to exist after he messes up his parents' relationship. It's a classic sci-fi movie that fans always come back to. What makes the classic film work is that it doesn't try too hard to delve into the science, and instead focuses on building a character worth rooting for. Plus, it's ridiculously hilarious, and its comedic tone makes viewers feel like things will turn out alright, even while seeing the worst consequences of Marty's antics. The Matrix 1999. Most fans would agree that the Wachowskis' first entry in the Matrix franchise is still the best one. The Matrix introduced viewers to Thomas Anderson, who goes by his hacker name, Neo, an unassuming computer programmer who learns the truth about his simulated reality. He soon joins forces with the Resistance to free others from the manipulation and control of extraterrestrial beings. The film won numerous accolades and is known for its novel concepts and cutting-edge visuals. Even those who have never seen the movie before may recognize its cyberpunk imagery and bullet time moments that have become an irreplaceable part of cinematic history. Interstellar 2014. Director Nolan's Interstellar initially takes place on a dying planet that is the dystopian version of Earth in the not-too-distant future. When ex-NASA pilot Joseph Cooper is given the chance to leave his farm and lead a mission to space in search of another home, he doesn't expect what he eventually finds. Praised for its accurate depictions of celestial bodies and space travel, the film manages to combine science and an emotional father and daughter story. It contrasts the vastness of outer space with the intricate details that make the characters human. Of course, it's worth noting that its mind-blowing plot is also an excellent foray into portraying theoretical physics in a visually stunning way. Inception 2010. Among Nolan's most staggering, iconic, and mind-boggling works is Inception. The sci-fi action film is centered on a group of professional thieves led by Dom Cobb, whose usual job is to infiltrate the victim's subconscious to steal information. Someone soon hires him to do an impossible task, to implant an idea instead. The protagonist's personal life soon becomes inextricably linked to the group's mission, making things even more perilous. The unique dreamscapes and the way they are depicted in the film are striking, not to mention the way the premise itself really makes viewers think. It's a movie that deserves the high praise it receives from both fans and critics, as it's a genuine standout that took the sci-fi genre to new heights. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse 2023. Following the massive success and stellar reputation of Into the Spider-Verse, fans and critics were understandably either skeptical or hopeful about the sequel's ability to live up to the original. Thankfully, Across the Spider-Verse didn't just live up to these high expectations, it exceeded them, thrusting Miles' story into the wider multiverse full of spider people like him. In the film, Miles discovers his role in the multiverse, and it's not an easy one. His well-written story is told through stunning landscapes with vibrant and ever-changing visuals, with most frames worthy of being hung up and framed as art. It's a gorgeous superhero film unlike any other, and everyone is undoubtedly waiting to see how Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse will manage to blow it out of the water.